Viewers at home, you are welcome to my presentation on time series analysis. Time series analysis. In this presentation, I will examine the following. Number one, meaning of time series. Meaning of time series. Number two, I will examine the components of time series. Components of time series. Number three, determination. I will also examine the models of time series. Time series, models of time series. Number four, analysis of time series. Analysis of time series using moving average method. Moving average method and linear regression analysis method. Number five, I will as well examine the determination of seasonal variation. Determination of seasonal variation. Number six, I will examine how to use the time series in forecasting. How to use the time series in business forecasting. If you are just coming across this YouTube channel for the first time, or if you have not subscribed in the past, please click the red subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell icon so that you don't miss my upcoming videos. If you are a returning subscriber, I say thank you and God bless you. Time series analysis. One of the tools used in business forecasting is the time series. Time series is one of the tools used in business forecasting. What do we mean by business forecasting? Forecasting is an attempt to predict what the future is likely to be. An attempt to predict what the future is likely to be with the use of qualitative and quantitative means. Forecasting is an attempt to predict into what the future is likely to be with the use of qualitative and quantitative means. Therefore, my focus in this lecture is on time series analysis. What do we mean by time series? Time series may be defined. Time series may be defined as a data classified chronologically. Data classified. Time series may be defined. As the data classified chronologically. The data classified chronologically is said to be the time series. Time series is a record of data over a period of time. Time series is a record of data over a period of time. It is the records of data over a period of time. Records of data over a period of time. E.g., we may have sales per month or sales per quarter. We may have the sales per month, or you may have sales per quarter, or sales every week, or weekly sales. You may have monthly sales, quarterly sales or yearly sales. Or you may have production per week or production per month or the production per quarter. So those are the examples of the time series. So you may have the sales per quarter or the sales per month. You may also have the sales per, the production per quarter or the production per month. You know, in some months, your sales will be very high, especially where that month falls within your peak period. While in certain number of periods, your sales may be very low. So the analysis of those data over a period of time is said to be the time series. So we have the components of time series. Time series have 4 components. There are 4 components of time series. Number 1, we have the basic trend. Basic trend. And this basic trend is denoted by letter T. Number 1 is the basic trend. This is the overall direction. Basic trend is the overall direction of change in the data. Overall direction of change in the data is said to be the basic trend. This is the overall direction of change. Overall direction of change in the data. Basic trend is the overall direction of change in the data. It is the general direction. Basic trend is the general direction in which the graph of a time series appears to be moving over a long period of time. Basic trend is the general direction in which the graph of a time series appears to be moving over a long period of time. Time series graph, the basic trend, it appears just. This is the trend. The trend, that is the trend. Long-term trend. Long-term trend. Long-term trend, letter T. So, and this is the y-axis. So this is the example of the trend. This is how the trend looks like on a time series. Number 2, we have seasonal variation denoted by S. These are the short-term fluctuations in the time series. Seasonal variations are the short-term fluctuations in the time series. These are the short-term fluctuations in the time series. E.g., 4 quarters of the year. 4 quarters of the year with different sales. Examples of seasonal variation is 4 quarters. 4 quarters of the year with different sales. That is, sales might rise in some of the quarters and then fall in the rest of the quarter. That is, sales might rise in some of the quarters and then fall in the rest and then fall in rest of the quarters, and then fall in rest of the quarters. It is calculated by subtracting the trend obtained from the actual data. When you subtract the trend obtained from the actual data, it will give you the seasonal variation. Seasonal variation is calculated by subtracting the trend obtained from the actual data. When you subtract the trend obtained from the actual data, it will give you what is called seasonal variation. As the name implies, variation, it varies. That is the deviation. Seasonal variation is the deviation of the trend obtained from the actual data. That is, seasonal variation equals to actual data minus trend. That means you would have calculated your trend. Then the trend you obtain, you then subtract it from the actual data. That is the seasonal variation. Number 3 is cyclical variation. Cyclical variation. These are the medium-term changes. Cyclical variation are the medium-term changes caused by factors which apply for a while. I said cyclical variation denoted by C. These are medium-term changes caused by factors which apply for a while, then go away, and then come back again in repetitive order. I say cyclical variation are medium-term changes caused by factors which apply for a while. Factors which apply for a while, then go away, and then come back again in repetitive order. Examples of those factors include: number 1, economic boom or economic recession. Economic booms or economic recession. These are the factors that brings about a cyclical variation. Number 4 is random variation. Random variation denoted by letter R. Random, number 4. Random variation denoted by R. These are non-recurring random variations or events. They are non-recurring events. They are non-recurring random variations. They are non-recurring random events. Examples, it is caused by events such as war, fire, and change in government. Random variation is caused by events such as the war, fire, change of government, and etc. It is caused. It is caused by events such as war, fire outbreak, and change in government, etc. I want you to know that random variations cannot be predicted. It cannot be predicted. Therefore, it can be excluded from time series forecasting. Since random variations cannot be predicted, so you may decide to exclude it from our forecasting using the time series analysis or time series data. So now, I want to consider the models, or let me say time series models. Time series models. There are two models used in time series analysis. There are two models used in time series analysis. Remember, we have discussed 4 different components of time series. The number 1 component we have examined is the basic trend. Basic trend, which we have represented by letter T. Then number 2, we've equally examined the seasonal variation, which was also denoted by letter S. Then number 4, we have examined the cyclical variations, which was also represented by letter C. Then we also examined the random variation. Random variation, which was denoted by the letter R. These 4 components of time series can be used to we can use them to formulate a model for time series analysis. There are 2 models used in time series. Number 1 is additive model. Additive model from the word addition. So these components of time series, you sum them up. When you sum up the 4 components of time series, the model form is called the additive model. Then we have the T plus S plus C plus R. T for the basic trend, S for seasonal variation, C for cyclical variation, and R for the random variation. Then the second model is multiplicative model. Multiplicative model from the word multiplication, by multiplying the 4 components of the time series. So if you multiply the 4 components, that is T times S times C times R. Having examined the models of the time series analysis, I therefore want to consider the analysis of time series. Analysis of time series. I've told you that of the 4 variables in the model, the 2 important ones are trend, number 1, trend, and number 2, seasonal variations. Seasonal variations. I've told you that there are many methods of estimating trend, but my focus in this presentation shall be on number 1, moving average method. Moving average method and linear regression method. Moving average method and linear regression method. What do we mean by moving average method? Under this method, the trend is obtained by smoothing out the fluctuations. The trend is obtained by smoothing out the fluctuations. This method depends on whether the order of the moving average are odd or even. It depends on whether the order of the moving average are odd numbers or even numbers. Therefore, I will examine how to determine the trend using average method when the order of the trend are odd numbers and when they are even numbers. Remember, odd numbers are numbers that cannot be divisible by 2. Numbers such as 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, etc. These are odd numbers. But numbers that can exactly be divisible by 2 are said to be even. Even numbers are numbers that can exactly be divisible by 2 without leaving any remainder. Example of even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. Procedures for estimating trend where the order of the moving average or where the orders of the period are odd. Where the order of the period where they are odd numbers. So number 1, the first procedure, the steps for estimating trend by moving average, that is for odd numbers of the period. Number 1 is to calculate the moving total. The first step is to calculate the moving total. Calculate the moving total based on the order of the period. Based on the order of the period. You calculate the moving total based on the order of the period. The second step is to divide the moving total. Divide the moving total. The moving total by the period. By the period. That is the period of order. By the period of order to obtain the moving average. Moving average. These are the procedures to follow when estimating trend based on the moving average method where the number of order of the period are odd. So, example, use the following table to determine A. The moving average of order 3. B. The moving average of order 4. Remember, 3 is an odd number, while 4 is an even number. You are given months in X and sales in Y. You are given the months 1 to 12 and their respective sales value. Now let's have the solution. Solution. Now, we have months. X, that is month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then you are given their sales. You are given the sales value for each of the months. Month 1, we have sales of 14, 24 for month 2, and 42. So we have 14, 24, 42. Now let's put down that. We have 14, 24, and 42. From month 4, we have 19, 29, and 38. 19, 29, and 38. Then from month 7, we have 43, 58, and 48. 43, 58, and 48. Then from month 10, we have 43, 64, and 74. 43, 64, and 74. Now, to answer the requirement A, you want to calculate the moving average of order 3. Moving average of order 3. Based on requirement A, you have to determine the moving average of order 3. Now, you are going to calculate the 3 months moving total. 3 months moving total. 3 months moving total. You are to calculate the 3 months moving total. 3 months moving average. And since 3 is odd, 3 is an odd number. If you divide 3 by 2, that will be 1.5. And 1.5 is approximately equal to 2. That means you will start inserting the result from the second month. And if you were to calculate the 5 months moving average, that means if you divide 5 by 2, that will give us 2.5, which is approximately equal to 3. That means you will start inserting the total or the result from the 3rd month. Now, since it is 3 months moving average, that means we want to start inserting it from the 2nd month. Now, 3 months now, you add it 3 months, 14 plus 24, 14 plus 24 plus 42, and that will give us 80. You start inserting it from 2nd month. So we have 80. Then you drop the 14. Then you start your addition from 24 again. 24 plus 42 plus 19. That is 3 months. Then you have 85. Then you again drop 24. You start from 42 again. 42 plus 19 plus 29. That will give us 90. You again drop 42. Then you start from 19. 19 plus 29 plus 38. That gives us 86. You again drop 19. Then you start adding it from 29 again. 29 plus 38 plus 43. That gives us 110. Then you again drop 29. You start your addition from 38. 38 plus 43 plus 58. Then you have 139. Then, if you drop 38, you start your addition from 43. You have 43 plus 58 plus 48. That gives us 149. You again drop 43. You start your addition from 58. 58 plus 48 plus 43. That gives us 149 again. Then you draw 58. You start the next addition from 48. We have 48 plus 43 plus 64. Then you have 155. Then you again you draw 48. You start your next addition from 43. You have 43 plus 64 plus 74. Then you have 181. That is 3 months moving total. Having calculated the 3 months moving total, the next thing is to calculate the 3 months moving average. 3 months moving average. 3 months moving average. To calculate the moving average, you divide the moving total by 3. 80 divided by 3, that gives us 26.67. 85 divided by 3, then we have 28.33. 90 divided by 3, you have 30. Let me say 30.00. 86 divided by 3, then you have 28.67. Then 110 divided by 3, then you have 36.67. 139 divided by 3, then you have 46.33. Then 149 divided by 3, then you have 49.67. 149 divided by 3, 49.67. Then 155 divided by 3, then you have 51.67. Then we have 181 divided by 3, that is 60.33. That is 3 months moving average. 3 months moving average. Remember, the 3 is an odd number. The next one we want to consider is when the number of orders are even. That is when it is an even number. Steps for calculating the moving average when the number of order of the period is an even. Steps when the number of order is an even number. So the first step is to calculate the moving total based on the number of order. Calculate the moving total based on the number of order in the period. That is the first step. You calculate the moving total based on the number of order in the period. Step 2. Calculate two of the number of order of the period moving total. Step 3. Divide the result. Divide the result obtained in step 2 above by the double of the number of order to obtain the required moving average. So that is the steps. These are the steps to take to determine the moving average when the number of order is an even number. Now, example. We want to use the same question as a work example. Use the following table to determine the moving average. To determine the moving average of order 3, and that has been solved. B, the moving average of order 4. And you are given the months and sales as well. Now the moving average. Now the solution. Let's have the solution. Moving average of order 4. We have the months X and the sales. We have month 1, month 2, month 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then 11 and 12. These are the months. And you are given their respective sales. Month 1 to 3, we have 14, 24, and 42. Month 1, 14. Month 2, 24. Month 3, we have 42. Month 4 again, we have 19, 29, and 38. 19, 29, 38. From month 7 to month 9, we have 43, 58, and 48. 43, 58, and 48. From month 10 to month 12, we have 43, 64, and 74. 43, 64, and 74. Now, you want to calculate 4 months moving average. Now, if you find the average of 4 divided by 2, and that will give us exactly 2, no remainder. So you can put it at that 2, since there is no remainder, so it doesn't have a decimal point. So the number will now be put between 2 and 3. It will be put between the second month and the third month. And if the number of order is, let's say, 6. If you say 6 divided by 2, and that will give us 3. That means you will put it between, you will start between the third month and the fourth month. That is how you'll be inserting it. Now, let's calculate 4 months moving total. 4 months moving total. 4 months moving total. I've told you that if you divide 4 by 2, that will give us 2. That you will insert it between 2 and 3. That means, you know, this is 2. This is the second month. You are going to insert it between the second month and the third month. So, now we want to add 4 months now. 14 plus 24 plus 42 plus 19. You are going to add the 4 months. That gives us 99. You are going to put that 99 between the second month and the third month. You also drop the first month again. You start your addition from the second month. 24 plus 42 plus 19 plus 29. That gives us 114. You are going to insert it in between it, not at that very number. You insert it in between the number, then you have 114. 114. So, then you also drop the second number. Then you have 42. You start from 42 plus 19 plus 29 plus 38. That gives us 128. You also insert it in between the numbers. We have 128. You also drop 42. Then you start from 19. 19 plus 29 plus 38 plus 43. 19, 29, 30, 43, that is 4. So we have that to be 129. You also insert it in between 129. You insert it in between the numbers. Then you also drop 19. You start your addition from 29. 29 plus 38 plus 43 plus 58. That gives us 168. You also insert it in between the numbers. 168. 168. You also draw 29. Then you start from 38. 38 plus 43 plus 58 plus 48. That gives us 187. 187. So you also insert that in between the number 187. You also drop 38. You now start the next addition from 43 again. 43 plus 58 plus 48 plus 43. So you have 192. You insert it in between the number 192. Then you also drop 43. You start the next addition from 58. 58 plus 48 plus 43 plus 64. Then you have 213. You insert that 213 in between the numbers. 213. Then you also drop 58. You start your next addition from 48. 48 plus 43 plus 64 plus 74. Then you have the total to be 229. You insert that 229 in between the numbers. 229. So now, having done that, the next thing is to calculate 2 of the 4 months moving total. You calculate 2 of it. 2 of the 4 months moving total. 2 of the 4 months moving total. Now, 2 of the 4 months moving total. So, remember, let me adjust it. 2 of the 4 months moving total. Having calculated the 4 months moving total, then the next step is to calculate 2 of the 4 months moving total. That is, you'll be adding it 2 in pairs. But at this time, you will not be putting the total at the center. Then you put it at that very number. The number in between, you now put the total at the center of the number in between. You know, the number in between 99 and 114 is 3. So you are now going to put the total at the center of 3. So you have 99 plus 114, then you have 213. So we put that 213 at the center of 3. So we have 213. Then you also add 114 and 128. 114 plus 128, then you have 242. So the number in between 114 and 128 is 4. So you are going to put the total at the point where you have 4. So which is 242. Then you also have 128 plus 129. 128 plus 129, and that is 257. And that is 5. The number in between is 5. So you have 257. You put it where you have 5. In the same line with 5. Then you have 129 plus 168. And that is 297. You put it where you have 6. Since 6 is in between that. That is 297. Then you also have 168 plus 187. That gives us 355. So the number in between is 7. So you put it where you have 7. That is 355. Then 187 plus 192. And that gives us 379. And the number in between is 8. So you put it where you have 8. That's the 379. Then we have 192 plus 213. 192 plus 213. That gives us 405. And the number in between is 9. So you put it where you have 9. That is 405. Then 213 plus 229. 213 plus 229. That gives us 442. And the number in between is 10. 10 months. So you put that 442. So finally, you determine 4 months moving average. 4 months moving average. You are going to divide the result obtained here by 8 months. Remember, I told you that you have to double the number of order of the period. And the number of order of the period is 4 months. So when you double 4, that is, you multiply that 4 by 2. That gives us 8. That means you'll be dividing these 2 of the 4 months moving total by 8 in order to get the 4 months moving average. So now have 213. 213 divided by 8. That gives us 26.63. 26.63. Then 242 divided by 8. That gives us 30.25. 30.25. Then we have 257 divided by 8. That gives us 32.13. Then 297 divided by 8. That gives us 37.13. Then 355 divided by 8. That gives us 44.38. Then we have 379 divided by 8. That gives us 47.38. 405 divided by 8. That gives us 50.63. Then 442 divided by 8. That gives us 55.25. That is the solution to the question. So, this is the part 1 of my presentation on time series analysis. In part 2, I will examine the linear regression method of solving time series. And I will as well consider the application of seasonal variations in time series and the determination of seasonal variation. If you are just coming across this channel for the first time, or if you have not subscribed in the past, please don't forget to click the red subscribe button and also turn on the your bell notification icon so that you don't miss my upcoming videos. If you are a returning subscriber, I say thank you and God bless you. Thanks for watching.